What's going on, guys? It's Purgatory and welcome to a brand new video. And in today's video I wanted to quickly talk about Big Run. Right off the bat, I'm already going to say this now, and you're watching a little bit of gameplay in the background, but this is some of the most fun I've ever had playing Salmon Run ever since it released, back in Splatoon 2. When Splatoon 3's Salmon Run came out, it was still fun, it was still great. It still felt like I was playing pretty much the same thing, just on different maps. And for some reason with Big Run, it's still like that same thing, but there's that intensity to it. You go into the map, it's really quiet, and then the moment that it starts, it plays the music. The skybox in Splatsville is red. You even go to the lobby for multiplayer and it's red, and it's really cool, like aesthetic that they did. So it's pretty much like, aside from Splatfest, we also have Big Run now. So Big Run has its own special mode. So I'm a huge fan of that, and using multiplayer maps and taking the Salmon Run mode to the multiplayer maps is one of the biggest things I wanted to see happen with this game. Back in Splatoon 2, I said it to myself all the time, and to a few of my friends, was like, they should bring Salmon Run to multiplayer maps. It's been quite some time, but lo and behold, they finally did it, and it's a ton of fun. Oh my gosh, like Wahoo World was a fantastic start for a mode like this, because Wahoo World has that 2-layer part to the map. So when there's high tide, you actually get a good amount of room to work with, and it usually ends up being fairly easy to take care of yourself. And the fact that you get extra rewards for it, you can get a cool reward if you're like, I think top something, I can't remember how much, like top whatever players. Just the sheer amount of things that they did for this event, instead of just making it to where you just play on a multiplayer map in a rotation for this month. Like, there's so much that they put to it. Even like the intro sequence where the news happens, the song is pretty much the news song, but made as like if it's like in the Salmon Run style. Even like the music, whenever you're in the map, it plays the multiplayer music, but it's very distorted, and it's very, again, in the style of Salmon Run's music. So there's so much that they did to this that just, all they really had to do was just make it to where these salmonids can spawn on a multiplayer map, and that's it. No, they went for a full aesthetic to where it's like they're actually invading the city, and it feels like that they're actually invading, and it's so cool. It's like, it's just off-putting, it's so ominous. You stand outside in the lobby and all you hear is like suspenseful music and like a helicopter roaming around the area, and it's insane, man. Of all this praise I give it, there's only like one or two flaws that I had with it. Number one is the random loadout in random rotations. Sure, it's cool, and sure, it's a ton of fun, but why I don't really like it is it's because it's RNG stacked on top of RNG. I tweeted this out earlier. It's like, say wave 1, you get Grisco Blaster, which was in this Big Run. You get 3 Grisco Blasters, and then maybe like a Glow Flies in a wave. You are easily taking care of that, and because you have 3 teammates with Grisco Blasters, you're easily taking that out and you're taking care of it. But then for some reason the next round you get high tide with chargers and like an explosher or something. Explosher can be kind of useful, but also it still sucks. And the chargers take so long to even shoot at something, so getting overrun is easy. This has actually happened to me before, to where we had like 1 shooter, 2 chargers, and I think like one of the more weaker buckets, I think it was just the regular bucket, and it just wasn't working because we didn't have the more DPS, and it was just the covering fire with the snipers. All that stuff. The random loadout just shouldn't be a thing, in my personal opinion, on Big Run, and I understand why it is, but I also do like the random rotation too, because you also get the Grisco weapon, which feels like a mod for the game. I think the other flaw I had to be specifically with the map. I don't know why they made it do just one side. So the basket will be in 2 places. It'll be in center, and then it'll be on, I think, the right side of the map, or at least the northern side of the map. Those were the baskets will be, but for some reason they didn't do it on the other side, so there's not really much activity going on that side. And it's kind of a bummer, because it would be kind of cool to just shift between those parts. But even then, every time you're at those parts, the tide becomes pretty high, and you have very little playing room. But even then, it's very manageable, especially if you know the map itself. And we've had Wahoo World since Splatoon 2, so it's pretty easy to know that map. And quite frankly, the other thing is Salmon Run, those Salmonids can have Wahoo World, to be honest. I don't like Wahoo World. I think, honestly, a cool feature that would happen, but also I can see why they wouldn't do it, is if, you know, say we failed to hit this threshold of how many, like, eggs collected or Salmonids splatted or killed or taken out or whatever. And if you don't meet that quota as a player base, then they take the map out and it's permanently a Salmon Run map. But then again, that would take maps out of multiplayer rotation, so I can see why they wouldn't do something like that. But I kind of want to like see them toy around with that idea. Take all the maps that are technically bad, that people consider bad, and like this just widely majority vote, and then put it in Salmon Run, take it out of rotation. Meaning like Wahoo World, for example, put it in rotation in Salmon Run, take it out of rotation in multiplayer. I think that would be sick, but also at the same time, you would have to replace that map with another map. So to not make it to where the map pool just dwindles down over the year, assuming that people don't hit the quota. So I can understand why they don't do it, but that would be sick. I personally think they should, but again, I can see why a lot of people, I'm probably gonna get a lot of comments like, that's a dumb idea, and I'm like, okay, I get it, fine. But even then, I think this whole big run thing is insane. I think it's a very welcome thing, and it's the biggest W that Salmon Run has had since the egg throw. So far, 2 Ws have been to this Salmon Run mode with the egg throw and then the introduction of Big Run, and I'm just insanely excited to see what they do with the future. I'm really excited for the next Splatfest too, but I'm at, like, Big Run is like the new thing, so I'm really excited to see what they do with it. But other than that, yeah, the Big Run mode is probably my favorite Salmon Run like mode so far, and might be like one of my favorite additions to the game, because it just makes it fun. Like, it makes it even more fun. You can go high egg counts, you even have a little high score that you can have. You get a lot of capsule rewards. The boss fight is still there, and it's really interesting to see a Kohozuna just on a multiplayer map. It's a ton of fun. It's really cool, and I'm so glad Nintendo finally did this. And yeah, let's see, what is the next map I think they should do? I would say if Moray Towers was in this game, I would be interested to see how Moray Towers would work, but I honestly don't hope they do never bring Moray Towers to this game. I would honestly like to see Flounder Heights be the next map, because Flounder Heights has that high ground you can do. Sure, it might be hard to work with because there's so much clutter around, but honestly, I think it would be a little interesting. But other than that, maybe there's a few great options here, but I think either Mahi Mahi Resort or Sturgeon's Shipyard would also be great options here too. Museum maybe, but I'm trying to think of like how High Tide would work. Mahi Mahi could take that gimmick of the high tide and bring up the stage and like lessen the play space, but it can also be at the low tide to where there's more play space, and I think that would be really cool. I don't know how they would handle that, but I think Mahi Mahi would be the next perfect one to do that. And with Sturgeon's Shipyard, I think when you have high tide, you know where those walls and the ramps that you climb up on to get to the center, I think that could be the area you play in for high tide. So there's a lot of potential good ideas for a lot of these maps. Scorch Gorge I think would work. Inkblot Art Academy would work. Like, there's definitely some things that they can make work in this. The only thing I don't know about is Hagglefish Market, because there's not really much elevation to that, and Eeltail Alley. Honestly, Eeltail Alley, Hagglefish, Undertow, and Mincemeat just seem like, I don't know how they would handle those, but the rest of the maps I can see them doing. But anyways, that's my opinion. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like if you did. Make sure to subscribe if you're brand new to the channel, and let me know, what is the next map do you think that they should do for the Big Run mode? I hope it doesn't stick to Wahoo World, and I doubt it will. So let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Have an absolutely fantastic day.